Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, Pixelbane, your host for the Sideshows of the Internet podcast, or the SOTI cast, as I like to call it. In this podcast, we take generally a cursory look at individuals, websites, events that took place on the internet or somehow even loosely tied to the internet, and just delve into them. This episode, we're going to be covering someone that I'm not quite sure to make of. I get this feeling that he could possibly be a troll. You'll see when we get into him in a little bit more detail, but I get a sort of how-to basic vibe from him. But at the same time, the videos he puts out are so, I don't know how to say, like, genuine in the squalor that he's living in, that it's tough to say, you know. Where I went to look up some cursory information of him before doing a little bit of a deeper dive are torn. He could be this amazing troll that put a absolute lot of effort into making it appear that he's a hoarder or he has something wrong with him, or, you know, he might actually have a mental illness. Before we go into him, I will like to say, as I will always say in these, I don't condone the bullying of any of these individuals. This is just a cursory look at people that I find interesting in one way or another. People that I've just found or people that I've known for a while. But I don't ever condone the bullying of any of these individuals. If any of you out there are its subject of any of these podcasts, wish to contact me and provide a statement or your side of events or corrections or anything like that, always feel free to contact me at my email, which is pixelbanebusiness@gmail.com. That is PIXELBANE business@gmail.com. Or you can just leave a comment on any of my videos and hopefully I'll see it. I did receive one such comment that I believe was from Todd, our subject from last episode, N90GL. And I'll cover that after we go through good old Masao here. I want to call him masochist, but that I don't know if that's what he wants, because it's not spelled like masochist. So just who is this Masaokis? I'm just calling him masochist. I'm sorry, Masao, if this gets to your ears and you don't like it. It's just easier for me to call you masochist. It sounds better than Masao. I apologize. But to my knowledge, and my digging through his little personal website, his YouTube channel that he still has up, watching the videos that he had taken down from his previous YouTube channel and some basic comments, there's not a whole lot to go by. He is a Canadian. Apparently he's like a law clerk of some sort. Don't know how verified that is. And in his earlier videos, which is what got him attention here, he seems to be living like a hoarder. There's dishes and bottles of like Windex all over the place. Bags of garbage just piling up. He has trouble maneuvering through his house or his apartment or whatever it is. I get flashbacks to seeing like how Chris Chan's house used to be when his dad was still around. I don't know if he still is living like that, but that house was filled to the brim with stuff. It's a miracle that Chris or Masao here didn't like have a fire, like a serious fire, not just a fire, because we'll cover that. Because like it could have been fatal. That like it's scary. But you know, just being a hoarder isn't enough to really get attention, I think. What really drove people to his videos and why I related it to How to Basic is that his videos initially were just cooking videos. He would basically make these dishes that were nothing like the description in the titles of the videos, and he would cook incredibly poorly, to the point that it was comical. So that's why like I'm on the fence of whether or not he is like a actor or he is just a person that might be having some form of mental illness. But it's not just that he cooks badly. Even though he might be the worst cook I've ever seen, even though like I'm a fucking terrible cook. It's just that he like seemingly ran out of space because of the hoarding. So like he couldn't wash his pans and pots. And this is my assumption here, and it's kind of tragic if it's true. So like he couldn't wash his pans or pots in the sink because it was full. So he had to wash them in the bathroom. So in a lot of his videos, he has pots and pans in the bathtub, and that's where he'll dump out grease and water. Sometimes he'll dump it down the toilet. There's one video where he's trying to defrost a little like steak, a small steak, and he takes it to the bathroom and opens the toilet up and puts some paper towel there, lights the paper towel on fire, and puts the steak on top of the toilet, like the smaller ring underneath the seat. And it falls down on the floor, and he just picks it back up and puts it back on there so that it can cook still. I don't know if he just doesn't have a sense of hygiene, or if it's just the tragic tale of having a disorder that leads to hoarding of some sort. It's just the status quo that he became used to. And it isn't all sad, because we'll cover his later videos eventually, but his cooking videos, it's this schadenfreude, and it's the struggle that I have with this. And I know it's being such a cuck here, but like I genuinely feel bad for people, and because like I've been in shitty situations, I've said that before, but at the same time I laugh at these people, and I think maybe I laugh because it keeps me from remembering how shit my life has been at times and how shitty I've lived. But I'm not gonna go into that. It would make me more of a lolcow than I already am. But anyway, there's a couple cooking videos in particular that I seem to have an affinity to of his. One of them... Okay, so one of them, he wants to make these hot dogs. He calls them sausages, but they're like really thin hot dogs. And he also wants to make like peach juice of some sort. So, he puts the peaches in the blender and blends them up. Basic stuff right there. But he wants to cook these sausages. So he has this range. I can't. It's like an electric range, I think. And he has placed tinfoil underneath the condenser coils or whatever the hell they're called. I don't know. So that he can catch all the shit that falls, because he has set fire to that range multiple fucking times, which is really fucking scary, because if you look around that range, there's paper and a bunch of combustible shit that could like go up in an instant, which is very scary. And thankfully, I don't think anything happened to Masao here. Anyway, I digress. He cooks hot dogs multiple times, and I had to go back and I had to watch my favorite one again, and I was mixing up a previous one where he takes the grill plate from outside of the oven, or the rack from the oven, puts it on top of the stove so that the condenser coils or whatever they're called of the electric range can heat up. And the juices are popping, and he's struggling to flip it over, and he can't do it. And eventually, I think it catches fire, and he has to dump a bunch of like pepper or something on it, and then the pepper catches fire. Oh, it's just like a 3-ring circus of crazy. But my favorite one though is the hot dogs and peaches one, and that one he uses a candle. He like puts a candle in like a picture or something, if I remember correctly, lights the candle and holds the hot dog over it as to cook it. I think at first he uses his lighter itself, and he struggles with that. It doesn't work very well. So he's having all these issues, and he can't fucking get that damn hot dog to cook. I don't know if he's cooked it this way before, but it's definitely a struggle. And that's the struggle that I have too with him in general. Like, this has to be some form of like comedy, like a dark comedy. Like maybe he has like some hoarder tendencies. Maybe he really does have something wrong with him to some extent, but like maybe these videos are his like way of acting or having like a comedic thing. So maybe it's like a 50-50 of sorts. So he has to give up on the hot dogs, cooking them. Like I think he puts them one in water and tries to boil it too, but nothing really happens there. though, that he could have boiled those hot dogs, I guess, to get them up to temperature, and they're probably already cooked anyway. They're not actual sausages. So then he blends the peaches, as I said earlier, but that happens later in the video. I got the chronology of the video all wrong. So he has this pot of water with a sausage on one side, and he has this blender on the other. And he starts blending it, and he starts smelling the peaches, and he's like, "Oh God, this smells awful." And he doesn't realize at first that the reason why it smells awful isn't because he blended some peaches, or maybe he did blend with some pits or something, but that's not why. It's because he put the wrong dial for heat on. So he started heating up some of this trash on the back side of his stove. Like, that's what I'm talking about. There's just so much trash around, and it's scary. So he lit his stove on fire, and he has to deal with that, and he gives up on heating the hot dog in water. Maybe it's not even water. Maybe it's just in the pot. But anyway, so he turns that off. He deals with the fire real quick because he's used to it. He set fire to his stove multiple times. And he's like, you know what? You know what I'm going to do? Hot dogs and peaches, they go together pretty well because he's making them together because he must like how they taste together. So he puts like a hot dog in the peach juice that he just like fucking blended up and blends that in with it. And so like then he pours this little like peach hot dog smoothie and drinks some and retches. I don't know, like, I want to believe that it honestly tasted fucking awful. But I can't, like, part of me, like, as I said, I can't believe that this isn't just an act. Like, sure, it probably tasted rank, but, like, he is, like, seriously gagging on it. And, yeah, unless those hot dog, I don't know, maybe I'm just thinking about it myself, I'm starting to gag. A fucking peach hot dog. So, he just has to dump the rest of it down the toilet. But that's one of my favorites from him. Besides, obviously, all the times he sets fire to his stuff. And luckily, he lives in Canada, and it snows quite a lot. It's quite cold there. One of the times he was cooking with a pot, he put a bunch of oil in it. Oh, and he has struggles with oil too. For some reason, the oil doesn't like to naturally expand when it's heated up on one of his pots. There's like a spot that he must have got some like hydrophobic or some substance on it, because like the oil doesn't want to naturally go over to this one side. But he sets this oil on fire in one of these episodes because he heats it up to such a high temp it catches fire. But thankfully it's in a really deep pot. But what you're supposed to do is turn off the heat and cover it if you can. You're when you have like an oil or a grease fire, you don't want to pick up that pot, because if you start sloshing that stuff around, there's going to be flaming oil going all over the place. It might burn you, might catch other things on fire. Just leave it there, turn off the heat so it doesn't keep getting hotter, and try to cover it so it suffocates itself. But he pulls it off the stove and puts it on the floor. It's just flaming. And then he starts dragging it, and like there's trash, mind you. There's trash everywhere. There's bags of trash that he could be catching on fire. And in this like waltz between like burning down his house or apartment and getting rid of this fire, he makes it to the front door and then struggles to open the door because there's trash there. And then gets a bunch of snow inside that pot because it was snowing out that day. And then he gets a bunch of fucking steam coming off of it, which could be just as dangerous, but I don't think he got hurt, thankfully. But damn, like the tension of that, it was a comedy of like errors and tragedy. It is just something else to behold. And as I said, these videos of his earlier days were taken down, so you're going to have to find re-uploads. But if you just search his name, as you see in the title here, Masaokis, and then cooking, you'll probably come across his current channel that he actually uses, as well as a bunch of other smaller channels with low subscriber counts that have re-uploaded his older videos. Another good one is for Christmas, he makes turkey cake, but instead of like turkey, he uses tuna. Like it's just amazing to behold. I don't want to spoil them too much. They do go on for quite some time, So if you're suffering from like ADHD or you're impatient, watching him on like 1.5 I don't think would be too much of an issue, because he does talk a little bit slower, so you don't get overwhelmed with constant dialogue. And he's got a decent cadence for speeding it up. So that's a pro tip from someone who went through a great deal of his videos. But yeah, like his earlier cooking videos are just a sight to behold. I do recommend not watching them if you're eating, though, because he does do a lot of this cooking stuff in the toilet and using toilet water or sink water, and it's not a very sanitary environment, and the way he cooks things is avant-garde, to say the least. But man, just talking about it here is just bringing back some of the stranger moments. Like in his bathtub, he cleans his dishes because he doesn't have room anywhere else to, and he has his like dirty shoes in there because he doesn't want to take a shower standing barefoot in the food waste that he's washed down the drain. That also reminds me that he dumps grease down his pipes all the time, and that's not good for your pipes. The grease can congeal into a solid mass, and then you can have backups. So then I don't think he's had any videos or blog posts about anything like that happen, but that's not something you should do. You shouldn't be dumping down grease in any of your pipes. That would be awful if his toilet got clogged up due to grease and shit, and then like when he used it to like actually like shit, all that like poop juice, for lack of a more sophisticated term, would start oozing up all over the place. So that's pretty disgusting. But anyway, he has to wear these Crocs in the shower because he doesn't want to like get chemicals and all sorts of other things on his feet. But he has these shoes at the farther end of the shower, meaning that if he takes a shower, his feet are going to have, like, anything on those shoes and his feet is going to start oozing down towards the drain into his pots and pans. I don't know if he realized this, but like he also fills his tub up when he washes things too. So even if he didn't have them in the front and he had them close to the drain, he would be contaminating all that water with his shoes, where his feet live all the time. And like I can't imagine he's getting a decent clean on the bottom of his feet when he's wearing shoes in the shower. So yeah, don't be eating when you watch some of Masao's earlier videos. It's not gonna be a good time, I don't think. Oh, and one more thing before we continue on to our next little section on Masao here. You'll notice this when I read one of his short stories. He has this overt fascination with Barack Obama. I'm not entirely sure why, but he really loves Barack Obama, and he's not even an American, he's a Canadian. But I guess, the whole world at the time when he got sworn in was like freaking out about Barack. To some extent, I kind of remember like the mainstream media talking about how every country loved Barack, even though obviously that's probably not the case. Mainstream media. I can't imagine all the countries love Barack. But anyway, he really seems to love Barack Obama. He mentions him all the time in his videos. He has like CNN playing with Barack there. I'm just going to talk about it now. In one of his later videos, he talks about how to end racism. And essentially, he writes down this list of things that you see or notice with someone the first time you meet them. And if you meet someone, the color of their skin, is going to be one of the first things you notice. It's just a basic feature of someone. So you're going to notice if they're black, you're going to notice how their face is like constructed, their bone structure, their eye color, their hair color, how their hair looks. So he writes these basic observations down, and he talks about how if someone asks you about this person you meet, and like let's say they're an Asian person, you're going to say, well, I met this Asian guy or something, or this Asian girl, or this black guy, a black girl, this white guy. And that he contends that that's racist in some regard, and I don't think that is in any real regard. It's just you're just describing someone in the most base way possible. because you don't necessarily know them. It's an acquaintance, it's someone you just met. But his contention to beating racism is just getting to know someone. And, to some degree, yeah, once you start humanizing anyone, even if you have like these racist tendencies, if you start learning about someone and who they are, what they like, you start to get away from that base tribalism, I think, to some extent. And then he relates that to Barack Obama again, where people might be hesitant of him at first. And that's probably why he made that video to begin with, is because of Barack Obama. But once Barack was on TV all the time, that sense of, this is just a black president would go away. And you're like, oh, it's that shitty president that wants to make us pay more in taxes for universal health care, or that wondrous president, that glorious leader that is going to make us the socialist country we love or need, depending on how you view certain things. But yeah, that fascination with Barack Obama continues to his short story, and I think that's where I'm going to segue here. He has his own personal website. I'm not going to give it out here. You can find it, though, because it's available on his YouTube page. If you go to his YouTube page, you're going to have links to his blog that has like 9 posts. He's had it, I think, since 2011, and you'll also have links to 4 short stories. Oh, and that YouTube channel that is his is Masaohf. It is Masaohf on YouTube, and that's where his current videos are. Well, some of them are quite old, but I think he's deleted his older channel that had some of the more cringe-tastic ones, which could be because they were a comedy, or perhaps it was a lower point in his life. And that's what I'll contend, that it was a darker point of his life that he wants to move away from. But I want to cover his story first. So he is a writer. He has 4 short stories, as I said. They're all written between 2008 and 2010. Maybe he's got more, but he didn't upload them to his website because his website doesn't seem very, new. It definitely seems dated. He has this avatar from like the South Park character creator, and I remember having one when I was in high school. I made like a Randy Marsh version of myself, and I had that on my Facebook page, like probably around 2007, 2008 as well. So that's probably when this website was created. And I'm gonna say that this story, the story that I'm gonna read, which is called "The Wrath of God," is something else. It is something else. It is only like 12 pages, but it is crazy. He has got a different style, to say the least. It's kind of difficult to read. Maybe because I have some mental fucking problems, but I don't know. I would say that he's a better writer than me. My shitty 80k word novel is probably such a snore fest, because I'm not going to go back and read that thing ever again. I tried to get it published and no one wanted to take it, so that should be your key, that it's not good. But I can say without a shadow of a doubt that Wrath of God here is far more fucking entertaining than my story could ever be, or anything that I will write in my entire life. So without a further ado, let us get into The Wrath of God. Act 1. There's an apple on my desk. How do I know? I can see a shape. It's round. There's a penis-like black shriveled thingy protruding from a cavity on the top. Someone's trying to take control of my mind. A wave of darkness is forcing me to accept preconceived notions of absolute truth, even though it neither is or nor isn't an apple. The assumptions of the existence of an independent entity, I don't want it. It's tearing me apart. Why must I be made to disregard all of it without delving further into the nature of existence? Just because, from my vantage point, it would look like other amalgamations of matter my memory associates with the word apple. Are you okay, Cookie? My sister looks up at me, relaxing her grip. Your meter doesn't seem to have changed. I look at the electronic bracelet around my wrist. I still have about a day to live, but don't worry. After tonight, the counter will reset, and we won't have to worry about AIDS again. I keep telling you, Even though I'm a girl, having sex with me won't remove the implant. You have to find a girl who's neither a family member nor an employee. My office beeper interrupts us. Emergency, Dr. Bookie. It's Miriam, my cute secretary, screaming through the intercom. We need an emergency procedure in room A12. It's a car accident. Room A12. We have to hurry, my sister screams as she pours sambuca on a sponge and rubs it all over her face to hide the smell. Now, okay, I'm going to stop here for a little bit because, I can't just straight read this. I don't want to infringe on this guy's copyright. I want to have my own commentary and make this as Creative Commons transformative as I can make it. But essentially what we have here, I think, tragically could be seen as maybe good old Masao here might have some sort of actual mental illness in which we could link back to the potential hoarding. Not potential, there was legit hoarding in that house. And I know this is literal armchair psychology, Pixelbane here. Literally the stereotype of, yeah, man, I had that Psych 101 class in college. But, I mean, this is pretty apparent. Writing, isn't always the case, can be a window into the subconscious. And this is so disjointed, and I say this a lot, but it is definitely avant-garde. What we have here in the beginning is incestual brother-sister relationship, attempting to cure AIDS that he has, his struggle with the concept of reality, which is an interesting, Baudrillardian take of, what is reality? Is the map that we look at really what the United States is, or what the world looks like? It's the aperture of which we view reality from. What is an apple? Is the thing I'm looking at, this combination of colors and shape, why is this an apple? Is this truly real? I don't know. That's an interesting take, but it's the struggle, I think, here that you could see potential link to, I don't know, some form of psychosis or something, or dissociation. And electronic bracelet around my wrist. I mean, obviously you could make that a link to maybe the smartwatches, but this was written in 2008, and maybe that bracelet, I don't know. This is a stretch. All of this is a stretch, but this is all just my assumptions reading on it. But maybe that electronic bracelet isn't really an electronic bracelet, more of just a hospital or some sort of mental institution bracelet or something that he wants to get removed, but he can't. He's struggling with it. He can't get it removed no matter how hard he tries. And while that incestual relationship is brought up here, I don't think that's what is important. It's that his family here, his sister, can't help him out of this. That's my personal take here. His sister can't help him get off. Jesus Christ. His sister can't help him get off, but can't help him remove this bracelet. And to be honest, I don't know if he actually has a sister. This is a fictional character, but I think the connection between family and help here is the important thing that I'm taking away. But let us continue on. Oh, wait, before I continue on, also the sambuca, I don't know what the hell that is. I'm too lazy to look it up, but the fact that she uses it to cover the smell on her face makes me think that maybe off script, she got a cum shot on her face or something, because why else would she need to hide the smell? I don't know, but continuing on. I grab my white coat and run to the elevator. Oh, this is interesting. And push the buttons to go right. In fact, this hospital is quite unique in that the floors are set up horizontally. This puts the first floor on the far right and the second floor to the left, and so on. My office is on the 5th floor, all the way to the left. I used all of my grandmother's money to have it set up like this for a simple reason. If I stand directly to my sister's left, the motion in space makes it so that we can move quickly from left to right. My penis finds itself in the same physical location as where her vagina was a fraction of a second before. Aside from this brief interval, from the space-time continuum's perspective, it's as if I had sexual relations with every person who steps in the elevator with me. This is impossible with traditional elevators and are required to move up and down instead of left to right. Now, I mean, as I said, I'm not going to keep going into the potential mental illness. You're going to see that. This is all assumptions, so if Masao wants to correct me, I will more than willingly correct any of these statements, but this is just my opinions based on what I've read and seen. It's all my opinions. But like his strange way of viewing reality is quite, I don't know, interesting. So he's relating like the space-time continuum, time in general, time and space, to like a traditional timeline that has a left and right portion, and he's traveling through that via the mode of transportation of the elevator. So it's like the fourth dimensional movement through these floors. So perhaps each of these floors are actually identical. There's just one floor, but he is traveling through them to different moments in time. I don't know. That's my own sci-fi take of how this would be happening. How crazy it would be. Let alone the possibility, not like not possibility, but his ability to have sexual relations with everyone who has ever stepped foot into that elevator. You know, that's more evidence that it's like a fourth dimensional machine, which is fucking just crazy to think about. But anyway, let's continue. Damn it, Cookie. How many times do I have to tell you to button your coat when you walk out of your office? Everyone will see your erection. After the elevator doors open on the first floor, we make our way past the orderlies and interns through a dark hallway just opposite the reception desk. It's Dr. Cookie Bookie, screams a young woman in a nursing gown. Everyone in the hallway stops what they're doing to take a look at me. In fact, I'm not really a doctor, but I realize it doesn't matter. Who would ever care? No one wants to tell me because they're so focused on their own self-interests. I'm the hospital's owner, after all, and I can just fire anyone who doesn't like me. It may be illegal, but who's gonna care? The governor? He doesn't care. All I would have to do is give him some cash. I find room A12 filled with nurses, pleasuring an injured man screaming in agony. His hands and feet are shackled, and restraining bolts are keeping him from falling out of bed. Abdominal distortion, I say, as I put on my surgical gloves. I turn to Kiki, a blonde-haired nurse with small boobs but voluptuous, Jesus, I cannot speak, thighs. Did you have the skin tissue analyzed? Yes, the computer can determine with 99.999% probability that this man was hit in the abdominal region with a bumper detached from a black SUV that crashed into a tank truck. He was beaten by the police officers before an Obama for America volunteer brought him here. It took 3 different nurses to give him an erection. Time 4 minutes and 39 seconds to full capacity. That's more than usual. It could be a weak disturbance in the spring mechanism. I say, observing the wound. What does the bracelet say? His AIDS level is at 27. He has about an hour left to live. We must move quickly then. Prepare all the equipment for an H39 procedure. Code blue. The gash begins underneath the clavicles and stretches out below the right nipple. I pick up a piece of flesh that had fallen to the floor and put it back in before emptying a flail of flexible collodion, another thing that I don't know about because I'm too small-brained, in the feeding tube to slow down the progress of AIDS. He is the ideal subject. For years, the moral tyranny of the Bush administration created a web of evil that ties us to the preconceived reality, preventing us from achieving our dream. All right, so now I'm going to take another break to, I don't know, I hate using this word, but unpack what we just fucking read. Like, this concept of being restrained to a hospital table, like, comes up multiple times in this, at least twice, and I think maybe perhaps he's calling forth a bad memory that he went through where he himself was basically restrained to some sort of table. Maybe he had like a surgery and he had a bad experience with that, or maybe something more along the lines of a mental illness thing to keep him from hurting himself. But we keep getting the Obama versus Bush thing. He has an undying love to Obama. You know, those Obama for America volunteers are the ones that saved this man, or attempted to save this man. And we have obviously the moral tyranny of Bush going to the dimensional merge, essentially. You know, Masao here was talking about the disintegration of reality. You know, not to the level of Chris here, because he's not talking about original characters becoming real and fictional characters becoming real, but the dream of breaking through the simulation. And, you know, I don't know if I want to talk about this this craziness that I went through this episode, even though it would be pertinent. I think I'll save it for a later episode, so you guys keep coming. And listening, keep coming, Jesus Christ. Now I'm thinking like Masao. In listening to my podcasts. But essentially, I was talking to this person, let's just call her Snow, for a while. And we talked about a lot of crazy shit. And at some points, I honestly believed about that this is a simulation. I still do, that this could possibly be a simulation. But I'm not going to go into it. It's too low-cow-y for this one episode. So we'll save it for another one. But essentially, that Bush and his tyranny were keeping us from ascending. Our dream of, like, a perfect reality, maybe, waking up from the simulation. I don't know. I don't know what his dream is. But let's continue on. But now, finally, things will change. Tonight, the time of reckoning shall come. November 4th, 2008. All of our hope now hangs on the election of Barack Obama. Finally, we will achieve our dream, the ultimate form of human existence. Sexual pleasure exists in a union of a man and a woman, and that is because originally humans were genderless, and thus spent their lives in orgasm every waking moment. This is why God separated them into two genders. Also, based and red-pilled, there are two genders according to Masao, and I believe Masao here. There's two genders. I believe in the words of our Savior, our Father of Awakening, trying to save us from the simulation, Masao. But if we can't prove that the difference between the two is an illusion, we won't be able to prove God wrong. With so much pleasure, all the wars will end. This is the ultimate truth of homosexuality, the lost link of human evolution. Okay, I forgot that this was the dream that he talked about. Homosexuality is the lost link to human evolution. I grab a pair of scissors and cut off the man's penis. Full stop. End of Act 1. That's great. We're about halfway through. Act 1, I think, is the largest act here, at 5 pages. But it ends so poignantly, just cutting off that man's dick. It's just how it ends. I love it. This is a refreshing style of writing. It feels so stream of consciousness, and it's just crazy. I don't know. I get really into this. It's different. It's unique. I love it. I love reading these stories that supposed locals put out, because they're always better than the shit that I write. But they have a unique way of writing. I've covered this before, like Eulilia's style, like, but since it's so non-mainstream, like, no one will give these people so much attention. And you might say, oh, this is just vulgarity, and this is just nonsense. This is like child's tier writing. But like, I don't know, it's so real, I guess, in the sense. Like, this is probably how he legitimately felt. Like, his author's voice, I feel, is really coming through this. And there's not a lot of authors in this day and age where you can get, like, yeah, this is how the author probably actually feels, without them saying so much. You know, this is how it goes on in his mind, and or at least that's what I assume from reading this. But let us continue. Act 2. Sorry to interrupt you, Wolf, but we have breaking news. Exit polls indicate John McCain pulling slightly ahead of Obama in California. CNN has to retract its earlier projection of Senator Obama winning the presidency. As you can see on the magic wall. Oh boy, this shit was written in 2008. Remember those exit polls that said Hillary was going to win at like 96%? And also magic wall. I know he's talking about the projection or green screen board behind newscasters at that point. They still do it today for stupid election things. Like, why do we need this augmented reality experience? But Magic Wall, the exit polls being wrong, I don't know. It's poignant. Maybe the Daddy Masao was right here. I don't know. Maybe this is all a simulation. An awkward silence falls to the room as John King's voice sends chills down our spines. California, how can this be? I shriek. Mayday, my sister shrieks. The patient's AIDS level have shifted to 14 in just moments. Candy, lock the doors. Don't let anyone out, I scream to my sister. The nurse standing near the door falls to her knees and sobs. She takes out her cell phone. Police, there's a man with AIDS. I grab a surgical knife and stab her in the eye. Everyone, switch off your cell phones. It will help you resist the Republican implant that is making you hate gays. The CNN is now close to projecting California in the John McCain column, giving the John McCain-Palin ticket an unexpected upset. Back to you, Wolf. Gloria Borger. Is that how you say Borger? Borger. I can't help but think of fucking fat Americlap Spurto. Gloria Borger is with us. Can you explain this unbelievable turn of events? California always has been considered a safe win for Senator Obama. It's quite unexpected, Wolf. As John King can show you on the magic wall, it appears that there is a voting booth in Butte County where not a single vote has been cast for Senator Obama. This might turn out to be one of the biggest upsets in U.S. history. Poignant. I shriek, no, it can't be! My sister breaks down in tears. It's our Republican mom. It has to be her. She went on to the voting station in Bidwell Park and is influencing voters. Everyone, stay cool. Secure the room, I cry as I take my sister's arm and rush out to the parking lot. Bidwell Park is only a 30-minute ride from the highway from the hospital. And with the accelerator all the way down, we are there in record time. Can you see it? There's a strange red smoke near the voter lines. That's what's making them vote for McCain. We make our way through the crowd and right under a tree. We find the source of the smoke. It's a naked Anthony Scalia holding a crucifix and having sex with his wife. Damn! He's obeying God! This is why the Republican red smoke was so dense. No wonder people were crashing their cars around gays and voting for McCain. I'm getting like a Bird Box feel. I don't know. Or like an incel rage moment of using fucking cars or trucks of peace. I don't know. There's a bunch of stuff here. Maybe Masao really is God. I don't know. Maybe he's the father of mean magic. I don't know. Cookie, look. My bracelet. I only have an hour left. We have to get away from here. The Republican smoke is accelerating your death. But we can't. We have to stop the voters. If McCain wins, we all die. Leave that to me, a loud voice roars from behind. Everything stops. Anthony Scalia and his wife give us a blank stare. You, devil spawn, he screams. Anthony, you won't stop me this time. It's Al Gore, the knight in shining armor. Next to him stands Hillary Clinton. Scalia shakes his head and laughs. Ha ha ha! My poor Al, it's too late. There is no way to stop this. My sex is calling forth God's presence. You can't repel all this smoke. Heh. What do you say about this? Al Gore takes off his robe. And no, it can't be. A woman? And that veil on his head. Al Gore was a Muslim woman all along. A faint blue smoke emanates from his body. No! Scalia screams as Al Gore and Hillary Clinton begin having Democrat Muslim gay sex to counter Republican Christian straight sex. Cookie, candy, take this, Al Gore screams as he throws a bag at me. I open it up to find a copy of the Koran and a plastic box with a dildo. You must have gay sex with as many voters as you can. My smoke alone is not enough to defeat Scalia's. I hand half the Quran to my sister as we get naked. Go to where the smoke is bluer first. We're less likely to get rejected by the voters there. As the sex intensifies, the Republican and Democrat smoke grows stronger and more denser, gliding in an eerie violet light. Oh man, holy shit. Okay. I know this is just obviously color theory, just mixing red and blue together to get violet, but I'm getting this fucking strange, I don't know, flashback to that snow person, I would call her, and her conversations. And she was, I think, certifiably mentally ill because there was a time where she had to go to a mental hospital herself. But yeah, okay, I want to talk about that here. That's probably a story for an entire episode, but not here. Have sex with your wives, Scalia screams to the voters. We cannot give up now. Pointless. The red smoke is dissipating. That's it. That's it. Ha 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 ha. The voters are starting to get back towards Obama. We're winning. Candy kisses me on the lips. We are going to win. Only a little more. She squeals as I kiss her back. But I get blocked by a sudden loud noise. I see nothing but red. My sister's head. Gone. There's brain matter splattered all over my face and chest. You thought you could win, you bunch of idiots! I wipe away the blood from my face. It's my mother pointing a gun at me. No, mother. Why? Why did you kill Sis? Another loud noise. I collapse, holding my chest. You thought you could play God. It's too bad. We found you. Your hospital's surrounded. There's no way you can win. She shoots again, but misses. I crawl to the car as fast as I can and push the pedal down. I'm going to die. My body is numb and my vision blurs. My AIDS counter ticking down rapidly. I'll be dead in less than an hour. It's not enough. Obama won't have enough time to get elected. And that is how Act 2 ends. Now, Act 2 is pretty fucking action-packed here. This is, again, I keep going back to it because literally I only have Psych 101 to go with, so I'm no fucking psychologist. I'm literally like every college student in America who thinks that they can psychoanalyze people. But I think Masao here has a great love for sex, because there is a lot of sex going on in this. We have Muslim gay sex, and we have Christian straight sex, and it's just one giant orgy. He wants us to reunited with our genderless selves. You know, and thinking about genderless selves, you know, the concept, like the common design for aliens for the last, like, I don't know, 40 years, little gray men. We calling them men, I think, is incorrect, you know, because they don't have genitalia. You know, they are basically agender. They are the combination of male and female, according to Masao here. Perhaps those are who we actually are. Maybe those are just admins coming down to punish terrible players of this game that are failing bad, Jesus, can't speak. Failing terribly at the simulation, or maybe hacking or something. I don't know. Maybe we're all little gray men. And that's why some people have fears of them, you know? Like, I had a terrible fear of aliens growing up. Like, I was straight up terrified. I thought they were gonna fucking take me away and, like, abduct me and kill me or implant me with crazy shit. And I blame it on these, like, television specials I used to watch as a kid. I've also had, like, a couple experiences as a kid, which are probably fabricated at this point, like false memories. But, you know, I'll talk about them. Like, I had this memory as a kid around Halloween, which, I mean, is a dead giveaway, right? Halloween. Where I was in my bed and I couldn't sleep, and had this uncontrollable sense of dread, but I could move my body. I don't think it was sleep paralysis because I could actually move. Because I eventually do pull the covers over my head and scream, or at least try to. But this alien head, like this gray, comes by. He reaches his hand around the corner of the doorway and stares at me, and I freak the fuck out. And I've asked every member of my family about this event, because, like, it scarred me. Like, I remember the next day, and I remember the day after that. It's been with me my entire life, and I was a little kid when it happened. But then they all of them deny fucking spooking me as a kid, maybe because they're embarrassed by it, or maybe they forgot about it. But then there was this other moment when I was at my grandmother's house, and I looked out the window, and I don't know, maybe like 40 feet up, 50 feet up, there was this pyramidal shapes metallic object rotating above me in the sky above the desert of my grandma's house in the backyard, because she had this semi-large like backlot area that was just desert. And I remember freaking the fuck out about that and just turning around, moving away from like the bay style doorways, the giant glass doorways, walking to the kitchen where my grandmother and my little brother are talking, and just trying to act normal because it bothered me so much. But anyway, maybe, I don't know, maybe when people get abducted, that's them waking up from the simulation for a little bit. And then they get like fake memories of them being abducted, but instead of seeing their alien body coming out of like the stasis tube and shit, it's just like they see their human body, because you got to keep that immersion of this simulation. I don't know, this is insane, but I don't know, maybe aliens are the true perfect beings. I don't know, I'm getting way too into this. I just love this fucking story. I don't know. But yeah, there's a lot of orgies going on in this story, and we're nearing the end. And I think I did enough general covering. I can read the rest of this, and then we'll give my final thoughts of this one glorious story. Act 3. I arrive in the parking lot, crashing through the booth. I bolt out the car and make a beeline to room A12. 30 seconds left. I need flexible collodion right now. 15 seconds left. I don't know where it is. I take a knife and cut the transgendered patient's belly and stick my mouth in the womb to absorb all the flexible collodion I can from the bloodstream. I take a look at the counter. 11. It worked. I gained 3 minutes. Quickly find more. I get as many flails as I can. Tax masters, we solve your tax problems. Goes the ad on the television as my staff rummages through the shelves. Anderson Cooper comes on after the commercial break. We have some breaking news for all you coming in right now. Despite the recent surge in California, Barack Obama is back in the lead, and we can now safely project him as the winner in California, and thus of the presidency of the United States. We have a new president-elect, Barack Obama, will be sworn in as president on January 12th, and Joe Biden will be sworn in as vice president. Cheers erupt. The hospital staff starts dancing and kissing. Finally, we did it. I spread out my arms. What's this feeling? The air seems different. God? God is leaving us. I take out my AIDS bracelet and throw it into the garbage. The divine implant that gives us AIDS when we have gay sex is gone. Suddenly, the alarm goes off. The emergency red lights begin flashing rapidly. The celebration stops. What's going on? A nurse screams over the deafening siren. It can't be. That alarm is only supposed to go off when an AIDS counter reaches 0. Look, it's the patient, shrieks an intern. It's because you absorbed his flexible collodion. It's accelerated the AIDS. It doesn't matter. Obama was elected. We won. This shouldn't be happening. No! No! The secretary screams. We miscalculated and had gay sex too early. Obama is not president. He's just president-elect. We have 2 months to wait. Oh my God. The patient sits up. His belly slowly opens up as an army of spiders march out of his body, quickly covering the room and eating away the nurse's flesh. We have to get out of here, I scream, as I run towards the door. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. Is there any hope left? I don't have enough flexible collodion to survive until January. Oh, yeah, there's that. Yes, I still have that. There's a Bible in my car. God will forgive any sins. He'll wipe away the AIDS from me. I'm going to live. The front doors are open. I can see my car. I never ran so fast in my life. I don't even think about the pain anymore. Just a little further. Just a little bit further. 10 more steps. Mom. She's there. She's holding a Bible. She can save me. The benediction of God will save me. I must atone. Mom, help me. She smiles at me. It's the motherly smile I've longed for. Finally, I can see it again. I can hear the lullaby she used to sing. Mom. She shuts the door in my face. Mom? Too bad. Cookie. Looks like it ends here. I'm a Republican, you know. I work for God, and my boss hates you. Mom, please, give me the Bible. I don't have much time left. Do you know why God hates gays, Cookie? Mom, please help me. When gays have sex, it makes God jealous because of how good gay sex is. And he knows he can't do it because he's going to look like a hypocrite. It hurts his self-confidence and makes it harder for him to approach cute chicks in heaven. Mom! Goodbye, Cookie. I hear the bolts fall. The door is locked from outside. No. No. I was only able to see the first few spiders coming out of my belly. Wow. What a fucking story. Like, the third act is very, like, I don't know, the Mist, like Stephen King's Mist. Like, the spiders coming out of this guy's belly. Like, unintentional, like, primal horror. I like most people don't like spiders. It's an irrational fear that's instilled in us at birth, basically. And just, like, having all of those just birthing out of the man's abdominal region. Like, giving birth to these spiders through, like, a C-section. It's just something, like, very, like, I don't know, essentially, like, just horror. I don't know, I just immediately thought of the Mist, of those, like, face spiders, like, that have, like, the human faces in the movie, because I never actually read The Mist. But, it's, I don't know, it's great. I fucking love it. I love it. I really do. I love the fact that God is basically a shy boy. A shy bi boy that wants to have some gay sex, but he can't because he'll look like a hypocrite. And this causes him to feel like really self-conscious around cute chicks in heaven. So he can't go and approach all them cutie girls, those QT 3.14s in heaven. Oh my god. Masao is fucking amazing. Oh my god, and this has been going on for about an hour. This is going to take forever to render. Maybe I won't do the little spectrogram because that'll take even longer. But that's basically all I really wanted to cover about Masao here. I wanted to talk quickly about how his apartment looks on his newer channel. Or house or whatever. I'm just going to call it an apartment though. It's cleaned up. Most of the trash is gone. It's the same place because he's got the same range. He's got the same bathroom. Bathroom's still kind of dirty, but it's the same place. The trash is gone. So I think perhaps he got the help he needed, and maybe he still struggles with hoarding to this day. But he definitely is working on it to make his life better, I think. And his more recent cooking videos, they're actually like seemingly cooking videos. I mean, they're not great, but they're cooking videos. And he has like room to work and do these creative culinary dishes. That's why it makes me think that perhaps it wasn't, at least not entirely, an act in those earlier videos. I think he got the help he needed, and I think that's like a good ending to the story, essentially, in my opinion. I maybe he still struggles through some stuff. His later videos are interesting. There's some nonsensical stuff, so maybe he still got some issues he's going through. A very interesting video. His I can't speak. Is his view of space time. It's like an 8-minute video, and I can't make heads or tails of it. He starts talking about X, Y, and Z directions, which is like the 3-dimensionality of space, and talks about how to, like, multiplying X by Y will get you something, and it's I don't know, my small grug brain can't figure it out. But that's an interesting one of his videos. He just seems like an interesting guy, so I suggest you guys look up his stuff. Don't fucking bully him. Don't be a fucking asshole. Just enjoy the content that he made in the past and what he made now. That's my personal take. But before we get onto this ending here, I wanted to talk about the corrections I received from Todd here. Good old N90GL. And I'll make this a common thing. If anyone reaches out to me with corrections or criticisms, I would like to cover them. I'm be honest, I do have thin fucking skin. Not in the sense that I get angry at people, but shit bothers me. I don't know if that should be something that I announce to people, but I do want to improve, and I will cover if anyone sends me things that I messed up, especially if it's the person, or I'm assuming this is Todd based on the way he speaks. He uses I a lot, so I think this is Todd. So I'll cover it. Essentially, I fucked up on a lot of things, and he sent me a 14 bullet, 15, 16, 17, 17 bullet monstrosity that fucking Google and YouTube thought was spam. Like, it doesn't even show up under the video normally. You have to go to newest first, and I didn't even get an email notifying me that this was here. But I appreciate that he took the effort to put it all out there. I can't possibly cover this all in one video. It'll be another hour. There's a lot of stuff here. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if I believe all of it. I don't know if I should believe all of it. But it's there. It's his side of the story. I recommend you go and look at it. But I wanted to cover the 14th Amendment thing because that was interesting to me. So his second bullet point. The police are violating the 14th Amendment, which states everyone has equal protection under the law, which I know it was instated for minorities. So anyway, he goes on, I have been blocked by the police since the early 2000s from filing any complaints. None of this would have happened if the police were made aware of these threats against my life. And those threats against his life go back to bullet point 1, which I should have read before for you guys. Consolidated Communications, the telephone company, a monopoly, I might add. And the threat was after one of their employees threatened to cut Mr. Doherty's, pronounced Doherty, nuts off and watch him bleed to death. Okay, so that's what's going on. I think that's one of the things that set him off. I still think that potentially he has an anger management issue. I mean, everyone's got their own problems. Hopefully he's potentially getting help for any anger problems that he has. But when someone threatens you, I guess it's, natural to get upset. And the police didn't help him out there. But, I mean, I still don't see that as the police treating him not equal under the law. I mean, the police can't work every case, and they have to make decisions. I'm no bootlicker, but, if he says it's the 14th, he says it's the 14th. But I don't see it as that in general. But, yeah, there's a lot here. A lot of corrections. I hearted the comment on the video from episode 3 on the YouTube page. As long as he doesn't delete it, it's going to be there. You guys can read it in detail. But yeah, if you guys have any corrections, comments, criticisms, stuff, interesting stories of your own lives that I can read on air, because I love reading about other people's lives or stories from other people in your lives, I'll keep it all anonymous because I don't want anyone to get fucking bullied on the internet. Get mad at the internet. But you can send that stuff, all that stuff, to pixelbanebusiness@gmail.com, as I said before. If you want to support the show, I set up a Patreon. I think it's linked down below. You really don't have to. This isn't something I do professionally. Probably never will be. It's just a hobby of mine at this point. But, if people can support it and I can make it a, actual career, that would be kind of cool. I mean, who wouldn't like just talking for maybe like an hour and 30 minutes, every week and live off that, I wanted to actually do something else for this, but it's already an hour long. But, what the hell? There's no reason why I can't make a little extra content. So if you were just tuning in for the special about Masaokis, or Masao HF as his YouTube channel that he uses now, you feel free to tune out, because this part will be just random shit about my life, because essentially I'm a fucking lolcow, or if I'm not one now, I will be. My brother's doggo is trying to play with me right now, so this is going to be very professional, as it clearly already was super professional to begin with. She's so cute. She's such a cute little doggo. But this little segment I'll try to do every week. try to keep it short and sweet. Just talk about shit that's going on in my life or stories about my life. And, this might be a good time for me to talk about the person I call Snow here. But that's a little bit longer of a story, so I think I'll save it for like a 30-minute to 40-minute episode, not an hour one. So I guess I'll just talk about the stuff that I'm doing or looking forward to. Been playing a lot of Monster Hunter World Iceborne. Fucking Monster Hunter is probably my favorite franchise of all time. I remember getting my PSP strictly for Monster Hunter 2, and then Freedom Unite. It's because I just saw all these forum posts on image boards and other places talking about how fucking amazing it was. And I would look at reviews and they would give it like a 7 out of 10 or something, like the GameSpot one or whatever. And I'd be like, I was torn. It looked fucking cool as shit, but I was such a sheep essentially that I didn't know if I should take that leap, but I'm fucking glad I did. I don't know if this degeneracy is something I should be fucking sharing, but I've probably put up maybe close to 10,000 hours in the series, from Monster Hunter 2, Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, Monster Hunter Tri, Monster Hunter 3U. I never played Portable Third because I'm not that much of a weeb, but I guess you can say I am a pretty big fucking weeb. Monster Hunter 4, 4U, Generations Ultimate, World, and then Iceborne. In World right now, I think I have like 600 hours in just that game itself. And I do have my gripes with the way things they changed, how they made the game fucking easier. I know that's very fucking hipstery and fucking gamers rise up. Games need to be fucking difficult. Fuck them casuals, but I don't know. It's just super fucking easy. Like the only difficulty that I had in the game, not even the arc-tempered monsters, like even, well, I guess arc-tempered Valhazak, because of how bullshit that was. It's just draining your health constantly. Barring that, the only monster that I have trouble with is fucking Lunastra, because of also bullshit of Supernova. Like, you have to have fucking all these skills just to deal with it. It's fucking stupid. Like, that's fucking Supernova, but I digress. I'm recording this the day before Rajang comes out, and I'm excited, but fucking I don't want to play him online. Like, I'm personally gimping myself from not abusing Clutch Claw. Like, I've practiced it so that I know how to use it well. It's a tool to use, and I try not to use mantles because like they just make the games so easy. I don't. It's going to an online lobby and like seeing a monster get fucking steamrolled by running into walls using flint shots, getting mounted every 5 seconds. It's like it's not even difficult, and it doesn't need to be difficult, but there should be some sort of fair challenge to it and not have to have like a bullshit mechanic like that Supernova that Luna does. So like I'm worried about Rajang being super fucking easy because like he's got this pedigree. I remember my first Rajang in Freedom Unite. I fought him solo in Guild. And I digress on the story a little bit. I remember the quest I did before him. I needed to kill like Vespoid Queen for something, and I fainted twice to Vespoid Queen, but didn't faint at all to Rajang. But it took so fucking long to kill him. I was terrified. I never played so passively in my life because I didn't know what to expect. Like I already hated like Belongo or Belonganga or whatever the fuck his name is. I hated him, and Rajang uses the same skeleton. So, like, I've always had this, I don't know, this fear of fighting. I think everyone gets that with certain monsters. Like, they don't like fighting them because the challenge for a bit. Like, Tigrex, however you want to call them. I had that for a while. Rajang, not really anymore, but I was still kind of hesitant of fighting him. Devil Joe. But, like, when I think about world monsters, I don't really have that feeling anymore, you know? And maybe that's because of all the experience I have in the game. And I'm not some fucking god tier player. I can evade through fucking monster roars like the rest of you motherfuckers out there, but I'm not super skilled. I mean, I'm skilled enough to be able to do that shit. And I think that's a stepping stone. But I don't know. Like none of the monsters from World are scary. Like the first Velk I fought, like I died twice, but then every other Velk after that, I'm like, oh, okay. You know, playing Guard Lance against Velk is just harder than just playing it normally. You know, just fucking just sidestep, and you can evade most of that shit. I don't know. Like I don't have that feeling. The only thing I'm worried about again is fucking Luna, because Luna's fucking a bitch to fight. But I'm gonna go on with my prediction. I want to say this in digital form. It's that I believe we might be getting for the end game of World Arc Tempered everything. I know that's saying a lot, but right now Guiding Lands goes up to 7, which gives you Arc Tempered Elder Dragons, and you know that's a weird number to end on. Why not make it 8, 9, and 10? So you can have challenge rating 1, 2, and 3 monsters as Arc Tempered, and I think that's what they might be doing for the end game. And it would give you a nice gradual curve. Like you could get gamma armor from everything else of the lower monsters, and you can fight your way up through one final progression rank, like a pseudo G rank plus or something, or master rank plus. That would be pretty cool, I think. But I'm also excited that they're making layered armor or transmog for at least the lower rank armors now, coming for the title update tomorrow. So that would actually give you something to fucking use your monster parts you get from the Guiding Lands for something. Because like right now, like not all of them are really all that useful to farm. But I don't know. I just wanted to talk about Monster Hunter for a bit. Give a little extra padding to this episode. People are listening to this while they're doing other things at some point in the future. Just listening to this autismo ramble about degenerate video games. But man, do I fucking love Monster Hunter. But I kind of wish that maybe Monster Hunter 5 will be like a return to classic Monster Hunter. I don't know. At least I just don't have fucking Clutch Claw, dude. I hated the fucking Slinger, and they try to force it so much with the Iceborne thing of adding like Slinger related things to all the weapon moves. And some of them are quite useful, but not all of them. Like the Insect Glaive, being able to power up your Kinsect with either increased damage or the extract extender, kind of like triple up. That's kind of interesting. But most of them aren't really all that interesting. The Clutch Claw makes the game that was already easier. Like once they added mounting to monsters became easier. Once they added the special moves from fucking Generations Ultimate, shit was really fucking easy. They took those away, but they made the fucking Clutch Claw and Mantles a thing. Like fucking Temporal Mantle, fucking literally just evade everything. Rocksteady Mantle, make it so that you have no reason not to just do full charge slashes for Great Sword. But I still love it. I mean, I wouldn't put all this time into it if I didn't love it. I just wish I had more people to play with. I played the base game with my brothers, and I don't think they liked it all that much, but I sure as had fun, because they've always stayed away from Monster Hunter because of how weeby it was. That was their excuse, or they just didn't have the systems. Because, fucking Nintendo systems are pretty not the best systems, not the best consoles when it comes to performance. And no one else really had a PSP. So that's pretty much it. I hope you all enjoyed this show today. I will catch you guys next week. I don't have a topic yet, so if you do want to send me a topic, get it to me before next Monday, this upcoming Monday, and maybe I'll cover it. Who knows? It can be a person, it could be an event, it could be a website. It just got to be interesting to me, and I'll cover it. I'll catch you guys next time. You all stay autistic, you hear?